Greetings everybody, it's so good to see you again in another video. Well, in the previous chapter we've talked about the introduction, we covered immunology, immune system definitions, also we covered innate and adaptive immunity, and primary and secondary immune response. In this chapter we are going to cover the cells of the immune system, particularly the white blood cells. And I'm going to cover the details, their features, their functions, and some clinical correlates. Okay, so let's get started. Well, white blood cells, according to their origin, they are divided into two. Basically, in the process of white blood cells, or let's say blood cell production, hematopoiesis, there are two progenitor cells, myeloid and lymphoid cells, and according to these two cells, the white blood cells are divided into myeloid in origin and lymphoid in origin. So the white blood cells that originate from the myeloid progenitor cells are, we have eosinophils, basophils, neutrophils, monocytes. So these are the four types of cell that originate from the myeloid progenitor cells. Well, we have the cells that originate from the lymphoid progenitor cells, and they are T cells, B cells, and natural killer cells, or NK. So these are the white blood cells and their classification according to the origin. Well, there is another type of classification which is based on the presence of granules within the cytoplasm of the white blood cells. And according to this principle, they are divided into granular and agranular lymphocytes. So we have right here, these three cells are said to be granular white blood cells. On the other hand, the rest of the cells are considered to be agranular. As a matter of fact, there are some granules within the cytoplasm of natural killer cells, but yet they are not considered as granular white blood cells. And when I come to discuss the natural killer cells, I will tell you why they are not considered granular white blood cells. Okay, so this is the classification of the white blood cells according to their origin and according to the presence of granules within the cytoplasm of the cells. Okay guys, I would like to put these cells in order according to their size and according to their count in the blood. Let me make it smaller. I mean this diagram. Okay, let's do it together. We have the white blood cells, myeloid in origin, lymphoid in origin. This include Xenophils, yes, basophils, neutrophils, monocytes. What was this one? They include T cells, B cells, and NK. Which one are granular? Which one are granular? These three are granular. What about the agranular? They include the remaining cells. Okay, so let's put them in order according to their size. The biggest one, the biggest type of cell, monocytes. Monocytes, followed by NKs, natural killers, followed by basophils, followed by xenophils and neutrophils together, followed by what's left, B cell and T cells. Okay, so this is according to their size. In other words, the biggest white blood cell type that is derived from the myeloid progenitor cells are monocytes. What about the granulars? Which one is the biggest? We have basophils. What about the lymphocytes? Which one is the biggest? We have NKs. Okay, so this is according to their size. According to their count, the most abundant type of cells are neutrophils, followed by lymphocytes altogether, followed by monocytes, followed by xenophils, and lastly we have basophils. So it's really important to know that the most abundant type of white blood cells in the blood, the most abundant type are neutrophils. So this is high yield, the most abundant one, and the least abundant we have basophils. So according to their count. Okay guys, it's really so important to know about these things, their order according to their size and count. Okay, finally I would like to mention some terms which are really important to understand and you will encounter in the next videos. We have antigen presenting cells. We have phagocytes. We have PMNs. Well, let's start with APCs. APCs. They are type of cells that when they encounter an antigen, they engulf it and process it, then they present it to the T cells. Okay, so if there is an antigen here, the antigen presenting cells come, engulf it, then inside it they process it, then they present it right here in the surface with association with some molecules. We are going to talk in details about that when we come to speak about these cells in particular. So they go to the T cells and present the antigen. So these are the antigen presenting cells, and they include macrophages, they also include dendritic cells. We will come to talk about the dendritic cells, macrophages in detail in the upcoming videos, inshallah. We have also B lymphocytes. So it's really important also here, among lymphocytes, which one can work as antigen presenter? We have B lymphocytes. Okay, so these are the 3 APCs. Well, what about phagocytes? If there is a specific pathogen right here, if the cell or the white cell has the property or the ability to engulf this pathogen, this process is called phagocytosis, engulfment of the antigen or engulfment of the pathogen or engulfment of anything. It's not necessary to be antigen or like pathogen or whatever. Sometimes they may be engulfment to self molecules. Okay, so this is a process of phagocytosis. And examples of phagocytes, we have macrophages, dendritic cells, we have B lymphocytes. All of the 3 are antigen presenting cells, as we've talked before. In addition to, we have eosinophils and neutrophils. It's worth mentioning right here that basophils are not phagocytes. Okay, so this is an MCQs question regarding basophils. Are not APCs. Okay, this is a very high yield to know as well. Finally, we have the term PMNs, stands for polymorphonuclear cells. That means cells with various shaped nucleus. Examples of these are eosinophils, neutrophils, and basophils. Generally speaking, when you hear the term PMNs, they most often refer to neutrophils, but all of them are considered to be polymorphonuclear cells. In a nutshell, these are the most important things that you really need to understand about the white blood cells and we will come to speak thoroughly in details about each class of the white blood cells. Each white blood cell will have a separate video, and we will talk about the classification, their features, their nomenclature, why are they called so, and their functions and some clinical correlates. By this, we've come to the end of the video. If you like it, press the like button, share it, and subscribe if you haven't done already.